Um, this is Brianna with Advantage Heating here with Chief NiBlock. Thanks for taking time. I know that you guys are extremely busy right now, so really appreciate you taking time out and chatting so that we can um, get your thoughts, your feedback on everything going on. Find out what we can do to help as a community for those that are in unsafe situations. What's their protocol? What's their go-to? And then, of course, what's just the status of everything for us here in the Salem-Keizer area.
So thank you for taking the time this morning or this afternoon. I appreciate it. We are extremely busy right now, and hopefully I won't get a bunch of phone calls while we're doing this. So we are obviously we're in a historically significant period right now with the fires that we have burning all across the state of Oregon, not just here in Marion County. We have the Beachy Creek fire, which is the one that's just east of Salem, about 160,000 acres right now. The Lion's Head fire behind that, they've together, they haven't combined them, but together they're about 300,000 acres. And the Riverside fire, which is up in the Clackamas, Estacada area, will probably merge together with the Beachy Creek fire sometime today or tomorrow. So we're going to have a very large fire front. Right now, Salem is not in jeopardy. There's no evacuation orders for Salem. That's the one thing I really want to communicate to people is we are not under evacuation orders right now. And if you really, the best place to go to find out if you're under an evacuation order is the Marion County Sheriff's In the Know website, and we'll post that website so you have that. And the other thing you can do is something called Community Connect. That's a service through the city of Salem. We'll have that website link for you as well. And that is a way that we can communicate with people through text message, a phone call, an alert. Anytime there's an emergency communication that goes on in the city of Salem, that's what we use to communicate to people. So you'll be the first people to get the news. If there's an evacuation, if there's a boil water order, if there's anything like that. The other thing I would tell folks is obviously we have air quality issues right now. You can just look outside and the sky is orange and it's not good to breathe. And it's been varying between not healthy for just select groups and then all the way to hazardous. Right now, I think it's in the 450 range. So it's hazardous for everybody to breathe. I think on the news the other night, they said if you breathed it for 8 hours, it'd be the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes, the impact to your lungs. So we're encouraging people to stay inside. If they can work inside, that's great. If they have to go outside, if it's an emergency or whatever, they have to be outside, they should wear a mask to protect themselves, a particulate mask. And any mask will do. It just filters those particulates out. But, the best mask is obviously an N95, but a regular dust mask will work as well. But we would really encourage people to stay inside when it's bad like this. Stay out of the smoke. It can really irritate, especially with people with asthma. Breathing disorders, heart problems can really be impacted by the poor air quality. So stay inside. The other thing I would like to tell everybody is our water system is safe. As many people know, our water comes from San Am, and our station is in Garrett Island in Staten. So we were actively monitoring the fire there. It's several miles away right now, probably 5 miles away from the water distribution center. So our water quality is safe. We're testing it and we're still supplying it to the city. If something happens out there, we have plans to continue to supply the water. But right now there's no curtailment orders. There's no boil water orders. Every water is safe to drink. So we're trying to take care of all of those major things that people need to have in their home to survive. And so right now we're in a good place. My heart goes out to all the folks in the San Am Canyon that have lost their homes. Some of them don't even know if they've lost their homes yet because they're not able to get back in there because it's not safe. There's still a lot of fire up there. The roads are unsafe to drive on. There's down trees, down power lines. So that's why the road is closed at Staten. Highway 20 is closed, or 22 is closed at Staten. You can't get past there, or you shouldn't get past there. And the sheriff's office is asking people not to go around the barricades because it really is unsafe up there, and there's still fire moving through the area, and there's unburned fuels and a lot of trees that have been burnt that still could fall over. So a lot of really unsafe conditions up there. They are beginning to get into some of the communities. The incident management team, we have a federal Type 1 team here now managing the fires. And Salem worked on the fires the first 12 hours in Gates. We had some crews up there, 2 engines, 2 grass trucks, and some camp command officers. So we were there the first night. Pretty crazy night. Lots of fire, lots of devastation. We were able to save some houses and rescue some people, but just a lot of devastation. So my heart goes out to those folks, and the community here has always been, and so has Advantage Heating and Cooling has always been willing to step up and help the community. We certainly appreciate businesses like yours, and so one of the things people can do is they can make donations to the American Red Cross, the local chapter, and we'll have that link available for you as well on the video. That's the best way to help them. They have a center set up for evacuees at the state fairgrounds. They have one in Polk County Fairgrounds, and in Lynn County right now. Those are the main three, and they have some up in the Portland area as well. But what they're doing is they're bringing people in and they're relocating them to hotel rooms. So they're giving them vouchers for hotel rooms. So the best thing you can do for the Red Cross is just donate money. That's what they need. They need cash right now to be able to keep giving those vouchers out to people. Okay. And that helps them turn and get people relocated. When your house burns down, you lose pretty much everything and you're really adrift. And that's a terrible thing to have happen to anybody. And so we've got a lot of people that are in that situation right now, people that have lost loved ones. I think as the governor said the other day, this is probably going to be the most significant loss of property and life in the history of the state. And I tend to believe that she's correct in that assessment. I think we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg for the recoveries that we're going to have of people that didn't make it out. And that's really heartbreaking. This fire moved very quickly overnight. It went from 500 acres to almost 131,000 acres just overnight. And so the conditions, like I said, historical weather pattern that we don't normally see this time of year, blowing down the canyon, which turned it into a chimney basically. And once the fire got started, it was just, there was fuel there. It's dry. The relative humidity is very low. There's a 50-mile-an-hour wind pushing it. It's like a blowtorch. And so that stuff's just going to explode. And that's basically what happened. Fire is not moving as rapidly as it did the first night. It's burning more to the northeast now, to Scotts Mills, that area. It's not really encroaching on Salem like it was earlier. So it's kind of just hanging tight right there. And the team that's running this is hoping that they can start to begin to put containment lines around the fire and pick a place where they can contain the fire. Right now, they're focused on life safety. So they're focused on evacuating people in the path of the fire, getting them safe and secure. The state fairgrounds is taking animals. So people are bringing their livestock. And so there's plenty of opportunities. And we'll have some of these links posted too for folks that want to donate. There's other organizations they can donate to, and they can donate their materials, things that are being collected as well. I know that United Way and the Mission are helping gather items like diapers and just household items that people need when they've lost everything and they've got the clothes on their back in their car. You think about all the things you use every toothbrush. All that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of opportunity for people to help out, and we'll have all those links up so people can really decide which one they would want to help. So there's options there. The money will stay local, especially to give the local Red Cross, and it'll help the people that are here in our community. And I would remind you that there are 38, I think, major fires burning in Oregon right now, all up and down the valley. Southern Oregon is on fire. They have some large, I think ours is the largest fire, but they have some large fires down there as well too that are Phoenix, Oregon got burnt through. There was, I think, hundreds of mobile homes that got burnt in Phoenix, Oregon. So a lot of destruction, unimaginable destruction. I've been in the business for going on 36 years now, and I've seen, I was involved in a 200,000 acre wildland fire that burnt 28 homes. At the end of it, at the conclusion of that fire, but this fire is just way bigger than that and moved way faster and consumed a lot of acreage in a very short period of time. So, like I say, historical, 100-year event, probably, with the winds and the temperature and the relative humidity. All those things were the worst they could be for a fire, and then we had a fire. So a tragic event, but Oregonians are strong, like the mayor said the other day. They're resilient, and people want help. And so we want to be able to share where the best place to help is to help these folks. Salem firefighters are doing great. Like I said, they were there the first night. We have been staffing our crews up. So we're overstaffed. We have all of our apparatus staffed up. We are in the preparations right now. They have called us back to the Beach Creek Fire as a task force. So we'll be sending another task force back out probably for 14 days. We still have plenty of resources in town. We still have 12 engines staffed and 2 ladder truck staff. So we will be able to protect Salem still, but we need to help out our community and our county during this, this historic event. We need to be, if we can get out there and make a difference now, maybe we can get the fire stopped before it gets too much bigger.
Yeah, it's like you said, people here are resilient, and we want to pull together. I was at home just thinking of ways that I might be able to help out, and then I come into work and talk to a couple of my coworkers, and they're saying the same thing. And because all we see on social media are just pictures of the devastation.
Yeah.
And so thank you for providing the resources, because I know everybody wants to help, whether that be in money form with the Red Cross. Earlier you were mentioning to me about why money is the biggest thing. Of course, hotels, which I didn't know prior to talking to you that was what
Right.
they were doing with the evacuees. But I had heard some people saying, well, what if we just go to the fairgrounds and bring a bunch of water, or even barbecue for everyone or something like that. But we're still in the midst of COVID. So what's that look like? Is that why
Right.
money is essentially the best option according to the Red Cross?
Yeah, I think if you would ask even Marion Polk Food Share, who's providing the food for the evacuees out there at the fairgrounds, if you give them $1, they can take that dollar and stretch it into multiple meals, rather than you giving them a can of soup or whatever, or physical donations. They'll take either, but their preference in a situation like this is they need to act quickly, and they put up a lot of people in hotel rooms last night, so they had hotel vouchers. So there's a cost associated with that. And if they can keep those funds coming in, then they can turn around and quickly get those people somewhere where they're, especially with the COVID going on. If prior to COVID, you would have, cots set up in a large building like the Jackman Log building, and there are some cots set up in there. And there was 30 or 40 people in there the first night. They were mostly people who had livestock and didn't want to leave their livestock at the fairgrounds without being there. But they separated the beds by 6 feet. People had to wear masks. Their preference is really to have each family unit in their own area. So you get a hotel room. If your house burns down, you're going to be out of your house for quite a while. And so we've got a lot of people that are going to be displaced from normalcy. All their possessions are gone. So trying to get them a place where they can be with their family is important. That sense of I got a room that's mine. I got a roof over my head. Cots are great, but a hotel room is better. And I think that's why they're pushing them that way, especially with COVID. Marion Polk Food Share, same thing. There are opportunities for people to volunteer. I don't want to say there's not opportunities for people if they don't want to give cash, if they want to volunteer. A couple of the links that I sent you from City of Salem have some good links on there where people can volunteer. They are looking for diapers and personal hygiene stuff and those kind of things. There's a list of things they're looking for, the most needed items. So they'll take donations of new items like that. Certainly, I mean, that stuff keeps them from having to go out and procure it. I think the advantage, though, is the food bank can take $1 and stretch it further than you and I could go to the store and spend $1. Because they do a lot of their pre-packaging, and they provide meals, wholesome meals to people all the time, and they've got it down to a science. And so I know that that's always a thing they've said, that what helps us the most is your dollar, and we take that dollar and we do this much with it. if you buy a can of soup for $1, that feeds one person, one time. And so that's kind of their cry, is they're asking for monetary donations. Like I said, the link that I've provided you will also have opportunities for people to volunteer. Um, it is a little tricky with COVID. If you're going to go down there and barbecue, or you're going to do this or that. Normally, that would be cool, but with COVID, are you a carrier? Are you exposing somebody? Are you getting exposed? Are you exposing your family? That's where we try to balance how can we best help these people with keeping the people that are donating safe too as well.
I also wanted to ask, on the flip side, for those that are in areas, like Phase Q, where they're on their toes and they're packing their bags, or they're maybe not in that area yet, but they're thinking maybe it's going to come this way. What are some what's the protocol that they can know ahead of time? Someone's going to come and knock on their door and say, hey, it's time to evacuate. What's kind of the notice, or what is, from their perspective, what does that look like right now?
So what we're telling people is the best way to be notified within the city of Salem is the Salem Community Connect. That'll be on the website as well. You can sign up and have a text message sent right to your phone. That'll say you're being placed under evacuation level 2, which means, be ready to go at a moment's notice. You're under level 1, start getting ready. You're under level 3, you need to go now immediately. And that site has all the definitions, but that's what we want people to know. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. If you get a level 3 evacuation, that means you need to get in your car, drive out of your driveway, and follow the instructions on where you need to evacuate. Why we don't tell people in advance of for an escape route, for example, if we said, hey, you drive down Silverton Road to go this way, that way, depending on where the fire is going, we don't know where the fire is going to burn. And so we wait until we know where the fire is coming from and where it's likely to go before we give people the evacuation route. But typically, for this fire, they did a lot of door-to-door, knocking on doors. The sheriff department goes house to house and knocks on doors, tells people to evacuate. Or phone calls or social media is another way these things get spread. Middle of the night, that's a little tough, but phone calls will go through in the middle of the night. That's why it's nice to have the Community Connect here in Salem. When we have an event, we can send a message out. It goes to everybody's cell phone through the cell towers all at once. If we had an evacuation order we needed to issue, that's how we would do it. We would also do the door-to-door with Salem Police and the Sheriff's Office as well, and firefighters, to make sure we got the message out. We've done small evacuations before when we've had areas where we've had fires where things were burning and the toxic smoke was coming off. We need to evacuate a neighborhood. We'd go knock on doors and evacuate 180 homes or something like that, and tell them, hey, we're sending you to this school. Usually we already have a center set up when we tell people, this is where you go. You go north on this street, south on that street, and this is, go to this school and check in. And so that's what we do. So we try to provide really clear information. Evacuation is always handled by law enforcement. So it's the Sheriff's Office in conjunction with Salem Police would be helping out as well. If it was in Polk County, it would be Polk County Sheriff and Salem Police would be helping as well. So again, we don't anticipate evacuations being placed under even a level 1 evacuation for City of Salem. And the fire is 20 to 25 miles away from us. It's not actively burning towards us right now. And there is a ton of topography between us and the forest that is like farmland, roads, parking lots. That stuff doesn't burn very good. And so you've got this defensible space between us and the fire. And so I'm not worried about that. That's what I've communicated to my elected officials is we're monitoring this every minute of the day. We are not seeing any indication that it's encroaching on Salem. We've got boundary marks just like everybody else. If it reaches this road, that's when we start notifying people, which gives them plenty of time to get everything together and get out if they needed to go. But we're not announced. There's no reason to announce that yet. We don't want to panic people. We want people to, it's smoky. It's terrible outside. It's terrible inside in your house. It still smells like smoke in your house. You can only do so much to keep your windows and doors closed and hope that, we get a wind shift so it clears away. And it will eventually. But in the first day, it looked apocalyptic. We had that orange sky was just really weird, and it got dark at 3 o'clock, and there was ash falling. There was ash on the cars when you went out in the morning. So that makes people nervous. I understand that. But we just try to reassure them and say, look, there's a large fire, and it's dropping ash, and it's clouding the skies up, but we're not in jeopardy of being burned over. So we're not issuing the evacuation order, and we don't expect to have to do that. It's burning northeast now, away from the city. Even if those two fires merge, which I expect they will probably later this day, today or Friday, they're still burning northeast, so they're burning away from us, which is great. I mean, the communities they're burning for, our heart still goes out to them. Um, our job is to protect the citizens of Salem, and that's what we're trying to do. And like I said, we've upstaffed, and so we're ready as we can be with all the resources we have. We're also going to help out our neighbors with some extra resources, and it's all hands on deck right now. And when these things happen, and they happen from time to time, and we've been preaching for a long time: be prepared, be ready, have your travel kit. And hopefully, this is another example of why it's good to have some water at your house, bottled water, even though the water is still safe to drink. If something happens to the water supply, you've got some water ready. 2 weeks ready is what we tell people. Can you survive in your house for 2 weeks without going to the grocery store if everything was turned off, electricity and water? And how would you do that? And so it's good to have a plan. And we always encourage people to do that.
Well, thank you. And I think it is good. I know it's reassuring for me to hear from you, the chief of,
Yeah,
our fire department here, that everything is looking good right now. And so thank you for clarifying that. Um,
absolutely.
and yes, it is a great reminder to make sure that we've got emergency kits or
Yep. Yep.
stocked up on water and whatnot.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, well, thank you for your time. If was
Absolutely.
anything else that you wanted to add on your side?
I would just we're certainly appreciative of businesses like yours that are spreading the word about donations, where people can donate through your network, your social network, which is important. We've been spreading that word too, but if more people do that, then it just helps calm people a little bit. And sometimes if somebody has something to where they can feel like they're helping, they're more reassured about the whole situation because they feel like they did something. People just want to help, and that's kind of how Oregonians are wired, which is super great. When things happen, we have really a good community feeling of people in the state, which is awesome. So it's beneficial, but it also helps to have business like yours help spread the word. So we appreciate you doing that, willingness to do that. And we appreciate the support for our firefighters that are out there every day protecting the community. And they're here to serve. That's their role. And but it's always nice for them to hear that people appreciate that. And so I would say thank you for that. And kudos to you guys for stepping up and helping spread the word about how people can donate and help the victims of this fire.
Yeah.
We appreciate
Well,
that.
thank you and your whole crew for everything that you guys do for putting your lives on the line every day. Especially in light of all of this, like you said, you guys are going back out, and I just want to say thank you and honor you for all that you guys are doing. And are all of your are all of the Salem firefighters are their houses secure? Um, that
As
you
far as we know, I have 3 firefighters that live up in that area, and I've heard from all 3 of them that their houses were fine. They didn't get burned over. They got burned all around, but they didn't get burned down. Um, and there may be some. I think there's some other folks that had property in Detroit, and I don't know if they've heard yet about the condition of that. And there were some folks that had cabins up there in our department, so haven't heard exactly. I know that Detroit was pretty devastated from the initial reports, but they haven't done address by address yet, which they're in the process of doing. There's still active fire in a lot of those areas, so it's difficult to do that. And they have crews starting to do that. USAR crews that are going to be going in, urban search and rescue crews that are going to be going in address by address, looking for survivors or people that have been deceased from the fire, and then documenting each structure that was destroyed. And there's going to be a lot of them. So, but right now I've not heard that any of our folks lost a home. We have a lot of firefighters who live in Staten, and several that live in Silverton and the outlying areas of that. So they're still under a level 2 evacuation order, along with a lot of other people. So that's a little stressful to be at work here in Salem working while your house is under a level 2 evacuation and you're not sure. It's the same for anybody else who's doing any other job, and they're under an evacuation order. It's super stressful. Um, but our folks are really responded professionally, and we're running from 80 to 100 calls a day here in Salem. There's lots of little fires popping up here too that we're getting on quickly, and we're extinguishing. We had a big commercial fire just the other day, and several. I think we had eight little grass fires that same day, and 2 house fires. So super busy. Crews are really working hard. It's hot out, so it's hard to wear all that gear when it's hot out. But they're really doing a good job, and we're trying to pay attention to the stresses that they have, and make sure that they're doing okay, and they seem to be doing all right. Um, this is what we do for a living, so this is a historic fire, obviously. So nobody's seen this level of destruction in the organization because it's been 100 years since we've had this kind of weather front, and we don't have any 100-year-old firefighters. So
Well, I wouldn't think so. But
no,
yeah. Oh well. To I guess as a quick note to anyone that is watching this that has been evacuated, our heart goes out to you. Um, Anyone that is in need, let us know how we can help. As Chief said, there is the Red Cross and other resources that we will share. If you are in need of them, or if you would like to help, if you are in the in between, if you're in phase 2, our hearts go out to you as well, kind of in that in between stage. But thank you so much for taking the time, Chief NiBlock. Appreciate it a lot. I know that you've got plenty of things to get back to, so really appreciate it, and hope that you and all the rest of the firefighters stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for all that you guys do.
thank you very much. We appreciate it.